Hi folks, and welcome to the Film channel, and I'm in the woods again. And today because I simply know you are craving sharpy pointy thingies, I want to talk about a knife I made some time ago, several years in fact, um, which not because it's the next big thing, but because it reflects sort of my perspective on bushcraft knives. And this is it. And while the sheath isn't exactly authentic or somewhat, this follows the lines of a traditional pukko, and that is not all there is, because the tang is on this one is almost as wide as a blade and stays that way for a long time until tapering to this dimension, and is pinned over a brass butt cap. The steel is a 1. The grind is high convex bevel to 0 with only the slightest of a salmiakki shape. The handle is made with a copper bolster from curly birch. I was being inspired by the knife that Rune Malte Bertram Nielsen on his channel uses, but I wanted to add a little bit of a strength. What a bolster does is it distributes the force into the handle and is theoretically capable of taking a lot of stress from the tang. And since the tang is what is most vulnerable if you are doing silly stuff with it, this is something that might come in handy if you want a full handle. A full handle has the advantage that your hand doesn't come in contact with the steel, which is an advantage in colder climates. And it also has sort of a taper, all in all, towards the end of the handle, making it a little bit more safe if you're using a drilling or a stabbing motion. Which can come in handy in woodworking if you're looking for something like this. Also, this can come in handy. The blade, I didn't sharpen it. I hope it's I'm not making a douchebag out of myself. Well, and that seems some pretty hard use. This is cherry burl, which is pretty hard to carve, and but it's perfectly in line with the other knives I have that so the advantage of a full handle is also that you are less likely to get any hot spots when carving for hours on end, and this is why pukot are really awesome for any woodworking task and what have you. It's just and this is just I do get the issue that they might be a tad more vulnerable when you are battening, and I understand that people batten, and I understand that sometimes it might be inevitable or something. That's not what that's never what I'm saying when I'm about, well, don't batten at all. because it's not a religion, it's making do. And thing is, I'll go like this. You will have, even with a more traditional puko than this one is, you won't encounter too many problems. The problem arises when you are working with knotted hardwood or difficult grain structures and something like this. And oh well, this is wrong direction. And actually, you see, if you look at what I'm saying, there's a branch in here, and you see there is a grain structure going to the middle. And this is not, you know, wood cracks like a bird shits from top to bottom. And if you are like this, if you're going like this, see, you will ultimately get stuck here. And in order, you can with force overcome the difficult grain structure, but actually this is also a lot of force. And some knives might not be capable of taking this force. And if you want to batten and you know the branch is in there, and you will batten no less, which I don't recommend it with a puko. When one of my best knives or most resilient knives I have for battening is, well, the Gorbech. But even so, I would suggest that you go the other way around, because that way you are moving with a grain, and you're moving. You can also try to remove the branch beforehand. You're still left with a difficult grain structure, but it might come in a little bit. It might be a little bit better. And if you're going like so, that's still a problem. And I suggest you don't. Well, a lot of times people are like, well, I can batten diameters as long as a blade, or a little bit, because you need a little bit to hit with a batten still. That leaves you with a diameter like so. And the thing is, what I want to say, if you find a branch like this, and we're talking about a diameter like this, which you can sensibly batten through, well, I get the point that you want the dry wood on the inside of the branch in order to make a fire, for building a fire. And well, what I want to say is, most certainly the knife, if you will be able to carry a knife in a survival situation, which is not probable these days, it will be some sort of a Swiss Army knife or something, or a utility knife like a kitchen knife or something, or you will have a makeshift implement or something. So you won't get into a situation where battening is absolutely necessary. So the occasions where you are actually carrying a knife, or in the forest, most of the time they are leisure. And if you're, there are survival scenarios like, well, you get lost in the woods or something. But well, if you get lost in the woods and you need to get rescued, first, more important than a knife would be some sort of device that you can alert your people to your situation. Smartphone or something, or a phone in general, or some sort of walkie-talkie or communication, and actually fire. But on the other hand, you don't want to risk your primary tool in such a scenario. That it's not to say that theoretically your knife should not be capable of withstanding a lot of stress or some stress. But what I want to say is battening through huge diameters and developing knives that are exclusively made for battening or something is a little bit silly, because if your knife can batten and that's about it, you're left with a knife that doesn't do all the other things a knife normally should do, not well enough to be up to par. A good example for me, and I know a lot of you guys are really fond of that knife, is the Cold Steel SRK. I have wanted to make a video about the Cold Steel SRK, but I tried several times and I always failed, because I actually, you know me, I don't want to be absolutely negative about a knife that I'm testing, because I believe that there is also always an application for everything. And if if I'm not able to make it work, that's not to say that everyone would not be able to make it work. So that is not what I'm saying. But what the Cold Steel SRK is, it is awesome for battening. It's awesome for chopping, and actually you get the blade shaving sharp. But even so, it is very, very hard to whittle anything. And given that if you get the Morse Kochanski mindset, and which is you should be able to also to do more delicate work with your knife, then a Cold Steel SRK is not your knife, and as is, a Cold Steel SRK is not my knife. But on the other hand, I want a knife with a little bit of beef to it, so that I can trust it to be capable of doing fine stuff, as well as a little bit of sensible harder stuff. The thing is, if you see someone battening through insane diameters, and I know people do this, and this is actually, if it withstands this test, this brutal test, like a good example is this Joe X, and I know personally that there is a lot. I think that there is a lot of wicked humor involved with stuff like this, and that there's nothing that's meant to be the next big shit either. It's just they just do it for fun, and there is something like fun in survival too. Who would have thought? So but well, battening through huge and insane diameters is show. It's not true survival, because it takes up a lot of energy to do this. There might be a time and a place for this, and maybe, well, you can. The thing about survival is that you cannot calculate it beforehand. You can be prepared, and you can plan beforehand, in order not having to say survival. But the fact is, if such a scenario would occur, you you will not be absolutely prepared, and you actually, well, there might arise a situation where you might need to batten through huge diameters of knotted hardware. But actually, I think personally, I think that first rule is don't get in a survival situation. Second is, if you are in one, try to get out of it as soon as possible. As long as you got enough energy, get out there. You must, obviously, you must stop, think, orient your plan. This is really, really important. That I cannot. And I'm not a survivalist, by the way. I'm just some bushcrafter who enjoys being out in the forest carving something and foraging for good food and for enjoying nature and stuff. This is what I'm all about. This is not. I'm not a military survival guy, and I'm a little bit about civilian survival because I acknowledge the fact that this is becoming more and more realistic, that you guys will get in such a situation. And if I can possibly be halfway inspirational, maybe not even helpful, go check and counter check and get your own opinion and your own informations. And as I said, I'm not a survivalist, so maybe what I'm talking about is maybe not that valid as someone else's my stuff. But the thing is, if you, as I said, if you haven't, you need to build a fire, and there is enough hardwood, enough firewood for battening through a huge piece of knotted hardwood, then there will most certainly also be a lot of twigs lying around to start a fire. And you can put a bundle of twigs into your clothing to dry them and warm them a little bit in order to get a fire going. In a scenario where there are big logs, most certainly there's also a lot of bark lying around. You can put that into your clothing if you still have one, have clothing. But then, if you don't have clothing, why should you have a knife? This is the mad thing about what you read on the internet. It is a really serious issue. It's not something we should make shows about just for the laugh. We can make shows for the laugh. That's not what I'm saying. But if we do so, we need to stick to what is realistic, and I think so. My personal opinion. This is the reason why I tell you what I am doing is not survival. It's not something. Survival is get the fuck out of the situation. Get your ass out of the survival situation. Find community. Find people you can cooperate with. That it's no good that there is the combat survival scenario, and this is a whole different setting. But as for a civilian, the most realistic situations you will get yourself in is maybe getting lost, a flood, well, the forest is burning, and the city must be evacuated. And for this, well, make yourself a go bag, and in order to survive 72 hours without too much problems. And I'm a total weirdo, and I always carry far too much stuff into the woods because I just love to have the tool for the job. Because what I'm doing is carving. I'm bringing my carving knives, and I like to have a little bit of versatility in my tool pack. And because I want to carve more and more complex patterns, but I want to do it in nature. Because nature is cool, and that's good for the soul. I will come to that later. And the thing is, these scenarios are best handled with something to eat, something to drink, maybe not even fire, maybe not even water purification, because for 72 hours you can go 72 hours without food. That's no problem. You can practice this at home. Well, just go hungry for 3 days, and you know, don't eat anything for 3 days, and you will realize that what's most important is water. And so you might want to bring some water bottle or something. You can ration the water, but thing is, well, and you can also carry water purification. That's not, get these tiny chloride tablets. If in 72 hours, it won't do you any harm if you get chloride in your system. That's another situation. And it's just what I'm saying is, learn how to do first aid. This is what's most important. Learn how to prevent fires. Another thing. Learn evacuation processes. Get yourself your documents ready, and set the priorities. In 72 hours, if there's a survival situation and it really is survival or die, well, why do you want to sit around a campfire? That's a cool thing to do. I love that. And this is why my knives look the way they do, because, well, they are made for stuff like this. They are made for a little bit of romanticism, for a little bit of whimsy, and sitting around the campfire, whittling, making myself stuff that will hopefully turn out beautiful. And this is what I'm saying. And if you the thing is, a lot of people thinking about survival are somewhat endeared with an apocalyptic mindset. The thing is, what the awesome Jane Goodall said, is that we need hope for survival, that we need hope to carry on, and we need something to that keeps us going in these insane days. And that is another form of survival, if you so will, not to focus exclusively on, be prepared for bad things. That's not what I'm saying, but not to focus exclusively on the bad things. And hoarding ammo will not get you anywhere. Just thinking about some sort of a zombie apocalypse won't get you anywhere, because then you will be hiding in your bunker. And what? One of the most grave survival situations mankind is faced with, and might not be popular with all of you, is climate change. And please don't let us discuss whether or not this exists. It exists because there is a solid database. Enough said. I don't want, as I said, I will not discuss this, because this is a scientific commonplace. The thing is, we can talk, by the way, we can talk about the reaction of our governments towards this, but the data are the data. They are yes or no, they are 1 or 0. That's all there is. And well, but we do need some sort of a survival strategy on for our souls, because this is something we are sorely unprepared for. Because in a crisis, there are always people that shine, that are awesome, that share resources with people, that help others, that are there, that are showing up for others, and there are politicians. And sorry to say this, I'm not bashing the human beings behind that, but this is what we can witness now. It's just, I'm not with Lemmy Kilmister. They are all professional liars, because I know some personally that are pretty awesome human beings, but even they contribute to the mess they are creating, to social injustice, and sometimes I have the impression that they want to provoke a global civil war. But I don't want to claim this, because if you focus on the bad things and on who is the culprit, or who did it, and what, yeah, well, then you know who did it. So what? And now we need a plan. We need to go. We need something to live for. And I think we must return to the woods, to the forest, to the landscape, to the land, to the earth. We must find our love again. And that sounds esoteric or religious or something, but we need. If you are a Christian, please read the Sermon on the Mountain, on a hill, or what's it called in English? It's in German. It's the Bergpredigt. I don't think I'm a very good Christian, or I'm not a very religious person. I think that science is enough for once. Not because I were an atheist or a nihilist or something, but because of Occam's razor, and I really want to know or see. Maybe I want to see something like Jesus, for my love for maybe the story, maybe the myth, maybe the person, maybe the God. And I don't know, but I want to see and I want to feel it in myself, if that makes sense. What this stands for. And I personally, I strongly believe that even if you don't believe in something like Jesus Christ or something, it's just, there are concepts like this or myths like this in a lot of religions. You need something to continue. You need a value. You need something like love. And they don't understand love. They just understand greed, hate, jealousy, envy, sickness, force, violence, and all that stuff that will ultimately kill off mankind. We need to love the things. We need to love the forest in order to protect it. We need to love the land in order to protect it, and not against. Well, that might also be unpopular, but what do I have? What gripe? What gripe do I have to a common man from Russia? I know that's not popular. That they are not evil. They are just people. They are just told by the government Well, over there, that's the enemy, shoot him. And we are told the same. And that's a very uncomfortable truth, because the earth is round, and that's a fact. And if someone, we could nuke Germany to smithereens in order to kill off Russia, because this is what would happen. Because if we would nuke our own ground, the fallout will arrive at Russia, in Russia, and it will kill off the Russian population. And then, and vice versa, if we attacked Russia with nukes or something, or vice versa, because the probability, I'm not naive, I'm not saying that Russia at the moment is a very endearing country. I know Russians who came over to Germany, and they are pretty awesome people, and I learned a lot from them. But they are people, they are not the government. So, and if Russia attacked Germany, the fallout will arrive in Russia and kill people by cancer. And I remember in the, I think it was in the 90s, they tested a massive nuclear bomb in Kamchatka. And I know it, I think it was called Ivan or something. And one of their bombs is called Satan. Why? Why? They know it's evil. They know it's wrong. Why? But enough said. And they tested this Ivan bomb in Kamchatka somewhere. And by the way, I think they didn't even evacuated the indigenous people there. So that's, Russia's not endearing. That's not what I'm saying. And in that moment where this bomb detonated, and it was the largest nuclear bomb ever ignited, for the fraction of a second, we lost the gravity field of the Earth. And if it had lasted just a fraction of a second longer, I wouldn't talk to you, because there would be no biological life on Earth anymore. Because the Earth would have looked like the Mars today. And, you know, that's insane. And it is because people focus on the bad things. And that's an unpopular opinion maybe too, but even Vladimir Putin is a human being. He also goes to the loo. He also has his weak moments or his strong moments, and he is possibly a narcissist. He is possibly a psychopath. But even he has a favorite meal. Even he has something that he might call love. It's a little bit, with a narcissist or a psychopath, that's often not objectively the case, but it's their concept of, well, something like that. So, and these people focus on the bad things. They are afraid. They are not, they are evil. That's not what I'm saying, but evil comes from fear and hate. And they call a nuclear bomb Satan because this is the most powerful weapon against the evil on the other side. Which essentially, an engineer that is servicing the Russian nuclear bombs is actually doing the same what an American engineer does when he services the nuclear bombs. And you know, why do I say this in a video about a knife? Well, because we tend to focus on the bad things. And that's the military mindset, and it has its time and place. Because if you expect the worst, you can be glad if it didn't happen. And well, this is why I'm not buying into the military knives and stuff so much, and why I love these whimsical pukos and stuff, because they aren't the bad things. They are not primarily weapons. They are something good. You can sit in the woods and by the campfire and whittle away and enjoy nature and have fun and stay sane and healthy, as I'm not tiring to say. And I want to nearing the end of this video. I want to address this too. All of the stuff I do is because it is a survival strategy for my soul. Because I'm maybe a little bit neurospicy, and recently, with a little bit of a grain of salt, I made some genome test, and it turns out I got a lot of Neanderthal genome, and well, kidding, obviously, because I don't believe in these DNA freak shows, because it's not. I could make a series of videos about this to explain why I think that this is not a valid method. And same goes for you just clone a mammoth from mammoth bones. Doesn't work. And for the same reason, you cannot. But with a grain of salt, I did, and well. And so I'm a little bit lost in the modern world because the priorities are, and this is a scientifically proven fact, insane. Narcissistic, psychopathic, and with other mental health issues as well. Everything we have, everything we do in modern society, apart from the things that are good, the good stuff, the good and simple things, is insane and scientifically proven so. And there are so many studies about this, but if you want to research it, go to pubmed.gov, or where you can find a lot of studies about mental health and Western society. And well, yeah. What I want to say is, it is also a matter of survival to keep your mental health, your sanity in these days. And there is no harm in doing something whimsical. That knife won't be on me in a survival situation. I don't think so. If I would be allowed to carry a knife, and what I will show off, you guys know that's always on me. For the reason, because this is a really valuable, realistic survival tool, and that's not very masculine, but it works. And so I think this was sort of a little bit of a complicated video again, because it's a complicated topic. I don't want to spoil your fun if you want to go battening. It's or doing a survival training. If it's fun, fire away, go nuts, do that. But keep in mind that what will keep you alive is the things I mentioned, and maybe learning how to hide from a thermal visor or something. And the priorities are a little bit wrong, because just if you're under enemy fire, the last thing you will worry about is how shiny your knife is, and that's the harsh truth. But do not focus on the bad stuff. Keep it in mind. Don't be naive. That's not what I'm saying. But also keep in mind that peace is one of the best, and peaceful mind is one of the best strategies for survival nowadays. And returning to the earth. That said, a little bit of a complicated video again, and a little bit of a controversy maybe, but I don't think I am too far off with this, because it works for me, and your vibe attracts your tribe. And recently I attracted some pretty cool people, and that's really great. And this is what I also want to recommend as a survival strategy today. Get yourself a community. Do something like a community garden, or what have you, care for the elderly, or whatever. There is so much you can do. And I think get yourself a knife that works for you, not for that guy on the internet, including myself. If a cold steel SRK works better for you, then fire away, get yourself one, is what I already said. But you need to, you get your local ecosystem. And I'm also talking about the psychological ecosystem. And that's the social ecosystem. That's a really important thing to keep in mind. And don't batten through knotted hardwood. That said, stay sane and healthy is what I'm saying. And enjoy the forest in the process is what I'm saying. And I really thank you for watching. I really thank you for being here. I really appreciate you guys. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.